Defence analyst Michael Clarke now. Michael, I'm interested to get your take on the justifications for this put forward by Donald Trump and to a certain extent Benjamin Netanyahu as well. We heard from Donald Trump, didn't we, this sense of the American people being under threat. He said that he was doing it to protect America. He talked about Iran being the #1 state sponsor in the world and said that Iran has continued to develop its nuclear program and plans to develop missiles that can reach the US. What do you make of that? And you were talking earlier about the legality of a strike like this. Do you think that justification leans into that?
Yes, he was obviously trying to do that. It was an astonishing statement. Actually, as I was watching it with you, I was thinking, is this a deep fake? Could this be an AI deep fake? Because it was a really astonishing statement. I mean, and he laid out some of the history of it. He talked about the hostage crisis of 1979 that Jimmy Carter had to deal with, and then the attack on Beirut in 1983 that was in the Ronald Reagan presidency, and then he talked about the attack on the USS Cole in the year 2000, and then on attacks in American forces in Iraq, and then all of the more recent stuff. And he had a whole line of things, and then he went off script a bit and said that they can't be allowed to do this, and we just can't stand for it. We're not going to stand for it any longer. There's a degree of personal exasperation, which is obviously not on his auto cue at that particular moment. But, I mean, it was a terrifically important statement because, you know, in the last week or two, critics in America have said that this is a war in search of a strategy. You know, the Americans are building up for some sort of war, but they don't know why. And in a way, Donald Trump provided the answer, which is that he's going for broke. What does he want to achieve? So he says that the Iranians cannot have nuclear weapons, full stop, right? And then he says that we're going to raise their ballistic missile capability. They can't have missiles either. And then he said that the members of the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, have got to lay down their arms or die. Well, there's 220,000 of them. And if we're talking about those who are concerned with the regime, there's also 650,000 of the Bajij, who are the militia who work with the IRGC right down to lowest levels. So he said those people have got to lay down their arms and die. And then he turned his attention to the brave population of Iran, saying, this is your moment. This is your moment. Come out onto the streets. You won't get another chance. So he's going for broke. And he didn't say, as Deborah said, he didn't say the word regime change, but that's what he means. And so here we are. He's absolutely decided that the United States, with Israel, is going to take down the mullahs of Tehran. And this is interesting. I mean, let's be aware of the date. This is the 28th of February. The 28th of February last year was the day on which President Trump and J.D. Vance beat up Zelensky in the White House, in the Oval Office, that famous interview, which was absolutely appalling to most people around the world. Last year, on this day, the United States effectively seemed to change sides in the war in Ukraine. And this year, on the 28th of February, he's gone to war. He's actually gone to war. This is not some sort of enforcement action in the Caribbean against alleged narcotics boats. This is not attacks on the Shadow Fleet, Russia's Shadow Fleet getting getting oil out of Venezuela. This is not the attack on Maduro in Venezuela. This is not the bombing of Nigeria over Christmas in favor of Christian communities, allegedly, in Nigeria. This is not just military action. Today, Donald Trump has gone to war. It's a big day.
It is indeed a big day, and so many questions about what could happen next. On this sense that he wants the regime to fall, how difficult would that be?
Well, we'll see. I mean, the regime is in deep trouble, and people have been saying to Trump now for months, you know, the Iranian regime is the weakest it has ever been. This is the moment to topple it. And if you miss this opportunity, you're not true to your MAGA base. If you miss the opportunity to get rid of this malign anti-American influence across the region, then history won't forgive you. That's what he's being told. But equally, of course, another part of his MAGA base says don't get involved in forever wars. And there is a sense in which analysts would say every president in the last 30 years has said, I want to get out of the Middle East. We have nothing to gain from being involved in the Middle East in a deep way. Every president has said that. I mean, Bush said it. Obama definitely said it. Clinton said it. Everybody tries to actually do a deal and then get out of the Middle East. And none of them have succeeded. And here is Donald Trump saying that I will fix things in the Middle East, we'll fix things with Israel, we'll produce peace in Gaza, and we'll deal with the Iranian regime. And undoubtedly, we will then be able to concentrate on the Western Hemisphere, which is the Americas, as foreshadowed in the National Security Strategy Statement of the 25th of November last year. So, yes, we'll do this and then we'll get out. Well, it'll be a neat trick if you can do it, Mr. President, because actually you're getting even further in. Now, that's not to say that this won't work. I mean, America's military power is overwhelming. The Iranian regime is very weak. But whether the people of Iran will come out onto the streets, I think, is somewhat doubtful. The idea, he said, look after yourselves, but come and take the opportunity. I'm not quite sure how they can do that. Because undoubtedly, with the Americans now making war on Iran, the IRGC and the Bajis, the militia, if they're out on the streets, they'll just shoot anyone they see. They will be able to claim that anyone involved in a demonstration, anyone advancing on a government building, is obviously working for the Americans. They'll just shoot them. It would be very unwise, I would have thought, for any Iranians to come out. I think the whole country will hunker down for some considerable number of days to see what happens next. And the point is that going after the Iranian nuclear capabilities and their military is, in a sense, is not likely to help the protesters. They've got to see what happens to the government in Tehran, and whether taking down those military facilities will actually bring the government down is rather doubtful, because the opposition will stay low. They've got to. I'll be interested to hear what Reza Pahlavi said. I mean, he is the pretender to the throne, the son of the Shah of Iran. He's in the United States. He's repeatedly called for demonstrators to come out. And he said, I'm here. I'm ready to come back and, run a new government, run a transitional government for you. Interesting to hear what he says, because if he tries to call people out onto the streets, he may be calling them out to their deaths.